CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Partly sunny skies here in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Current temperature 60 degrees. Wind, though, could be a factor on this Sunday afternoon. Before we kick things off, let's bring in the third member of our crew down to the field, and Evan Washburn.
Well, Lion, as expected, Joe Flacco will start under center for Baltimore. And when we spoke with him last night, he did confirm that an MRI revealed that he does have an irritation to the rotator cuff of that throwing right shoulder. But he added there are no limitations in terms of the throws that he can make. He also said he will not wear any added protection to cover up that shoulder. But guys, it should be noted, he didn't take part in any of the early warm-ups. That's not customary for Joe. He got out here a little after 12, took part in some warm-ups. So preparation clearly different for Joe Flacco. We'll have to keep an eye on it all afternoon.
All right, Evan, Rich, your thoughts. That's an injury you dealt with, that rotator cuff shoulder injury. Flacco, no practice time this week for this one.
That would concern me, Ian. You know, obviously didn't practice. The Friday was mostly a walkthrough. He hasn't done much throwing, did very little throwing in warm-ups. I've had a rotator cuff injury, one that was so severe it kept me out of football for a season. So he did have the MRI, as Evan pointed out. I'm anxious to see what he has in the first series or two.
He's gone 151 straight passes without an interception, the longest stretch of his career. John Harbaugh has been dealing with a bit of a stomach virus, but he's a gamer. He's on the sideline for Baltimore. Ravens are a desperate team coming off a 27-23 loss to the Giants. That was right here at MetLife. They take on an equally desperate team, the New York Jets, who are 1-5, the four-game losing streak. All of those losses have come by double digits. Jets have no touchdowns in 16 straight drives. Jets won the toss, but they have elected to receive the football to start the second half. Ball has already come off the tee. So we mentioned the wind here. Nick Folk will kick it off. Devin Hester is back in there for Baltimore, and Hester will be the return man, the all-time leader in return touchdowns in NFL history with 20. They'll have to hold it for Folk. Todd Bowles making the decision to change quarterbacks this week.
I had two teams that are struggling right now. The Jets have lost 4 straight. The Ravens have lost 3 straight. I'm anxious to see how teams deal with adversity, and we're going to see which of these teams feel the pressure and which of these teams want to apply the pressure in this one.
So we're set for action. Folk on the approach. We're underway at MetLife. Hester waits for it. Takes him deep into the end zone, and the Ravens will have it at the 25-yard line to open things up. Joe Flacco, 89 yards away from 30,000 for his career, but it's been an uneven season so far for Flacco.
Well, he's been hit too much, and that's a problem. And no wonder the shoulder's bothering him. He's been sacked 11 times over the last 3 games. And the other thing we know about Joe Flacco, Ian, is that there's been too much change around him. And I think too much change around the quarterback, never a good thing. 5 offensive coordinators in his last 5 seasons.
And that includes 2 this season. It was Mark Trestman. Now it's Marty Mornhinweg, the former offensive coordinator of the Jets for 2 seasons. Marty Mornhinweg calling the plays for the 2nd straight week. 3 receivers set to open up. Terrence West trying to cut it to the outside, and 2-yard pickup for West. He's hit by McClendon. The other issue for Flacco, the offensive line. Serious injuries there. Ronnie Stanley is out yet again. So Alex Lewis starts at left tackle, and then that sets off a chain reaction across that line. Kamar Aiken is starting for the injured Steve Smith Sr. Mike Wallace has been a deep threat for Baltimore, but not as many deep shots for Flacco compared to previous years. West just limped off for Baltimore, so tack on another potential injury for the Ravens. Kenneth Dixon, the rookie, is in, and Dixon himself is coming off an injury. Flacco out of the gun. Tosses to Mike Wallace, hit from behind, and he has got enough for the first down. Buster Screen over there. It's a 9-yard pickup. Wallace and Pryor exchanging some pleasantries. And now Baltimore will make another change at running back with West on the sideline. Lorenzo Taliaferro, who was just activated off the physically unable to perform list. Taliaferro had been sitting with a foot injury. He's in there.
Boy, the injuries are starting to really pile up for the Ravens, really on both sides of the football.
Line of scrimmage is the 36. Two tight ends in this formation with Pitta and Gilmore. Clean pocket for Flacco. He'll try a deep ball. Flacco down the sideline and nothing there. Aiken in a matchup with Screen. It's incomplete. Defensively for the Jets, this was supposed to be the strength of the team up front. No Wilkerson today. You'll see Lorenzo Malden, but you'll see others at that spot as well. Linebackers, David Harris returns for the Jets. 121 consecutive start streak was snapped last week against Arizona with a hamstring injury. Buster Screen, so many penalties for Screen. Most penalized, most PIs for pass interferences than any other corner over the last few years. Dixon is spun down. Sheldon Richardson and Leonard Williams over there. No gain on the play.
Well, great penetration. You look at that Jets front seven, and that's really what gets it done right here. A little bit of a face mask there. You see Sheldon Richardson gets a hold of the back. Dixon, he clearly has his left hand on that face mask. They missed that one. These are the situations you want to stay out of. 3rd and long against a Todd Bowles defense. This is where he likes to bring pressure up inside.
Saw a lot of pressure last week against Arizona. Flacco over the middle. Incomplete. Tried to hit Pitta. And Baltimore will punt. Bruce Carter, the linebacker, who has stepped in for Aaron Henderson. Henderson, this was a surprise, placed on the non-football injury illness list yesterday. And Darren Lee is out for the Jets as well. Lee dealing with an ankle injury that he suffered in the 3rd quarter against the Cardinals. He was leading the team in tackles. Jalen Marshall, the rookie, is the return man. Sam Cook, the punter, averaging 47.5 yards per kick. And a timeout called by Baltimore just before
this
the
is
punt.
the first charge timeout. Baltimore, 30-second timeout.
Rich, every game has been decided by 6 points or less for the Baltimore Ravens. You go back to last year, the first 6 games were decided by 6 points or less. They played in 14 of 16 games last year that were decided by 1 score or less. They ended up 5-11 on the season.
That's really the NFL today, though. As you said, 20 of their last 22 games have been decided by a single score. And, you know, these last 3 games, they haven't been able to finish. And I think the penalties, the missed assignments, the mistakes that they have made, really on both sides of the ball, have prevented them from finishing games well late.
That was the rare timeout before a punt.
You wonder if there's an injury and they had to make a change.
Cook on the kick. Marshall backpedaling. He'll take it from the 5. Marshall tries a spin move, and the Jets will be pinned deep in their own territory. First possession coming up as Marqueston Huff makes the play on special teams. Geno Smith gets another chance to lead a team when we come back. Geno Smith in a quarterback for the Jets. Rich, what changes from a philosophical standpoint on offense for New York with him in there?
Well, I think obviously more of an emphasis on the running game, and that includes the zone read with him keeping the ball out of the gun.
Forte dragged down from behind by Brandon Williams. He picks up a yard on the play. That's been a problem for the Jets. Weeks 1 and 2, they did establish the run, but since that point, which has been during the losing streak, not much to speak of on the ground game. Last start for Geno Smith, week 17 of 2014 under Rex Ryan. Happened to be the best game of his career against the Miami Dolphins. 20 of 25, 358 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
He's got a very strong arm, a compact delivery that's fluid and sudden, and as I said in the open, he throws the deep ball very well.
2nd and 9, working out of the gun. Smith pulls the trigger, catch by Anderson, and a curl upfield. Look at all the white jerseys that converge on Robbie Anderson, including Tavon Young, Weddle, and Zachary Orr. 8-yard pickup. Starting offense for the Jets, Ben Ajalana at that right tackle position. Still no Breno Giacomini, who is coming off that lower back injury. Backs and receivers, Brandon Marshall was the favorite target of Fitzpatrick. We'll see how Geno Smith spreads it around with the skill position players. Extra offensive lineman Wesley Johnson is in for the Jets.
Mike's 50, Mike's 50, Mike's 50, at him.
This is a 3rd and 1.
180!
Motion man is Bostic. Running play. A lane for Forte, and he falls forward for 5. It's a first down. Good block from Johnson on that left side. Defensively for the Baltimore Ravens up front, Timmy Jernigan has stepped forward now in his third year. He's got 3 sacks along that defensive line. Zadarius Smith, he's in for Terrell Suggs. Suggs torn left biceps. And in the secondary, Tavon Young is in for the injured Sharice Wright. And Jimmy Smith is coming off a concussion that he suffered last week against the Giants. Big reason why Odell Beckham Jr. had those numbers in the second half. Smith was not out there for Baltimore. 2 tight ends, Davis and Bostic. Smith straight back. Smith, sideline. Brandon Marshall, the intended target. It's incomplete.
I think you're going to see more outbreaking routes with Brandon Marshall and some of these other receivers because Geno Smith has the stronger arm. I think he's more comfortable throwing the ball outside the numbers where Ryan Fitzpatrick really wasn't. I also think you'll see the quarterback under center a little bit more than we saw in the past with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was much more comfortable operating and functioning out of the gun.
Dime package here for Baltimore on a 2nd and 10 for the Jets. Smith operating out of the gun on a draw play. Forte right through the middle for Forte, and he glides for a gain of 6. Weddle and Orr combine on the stop short of the 30-yard line. Sets up 3rd and manageable now for New York.
And they have to do more of this. You know, however they can get the ball into the hands of Matt Forte and Bilal Powell. I don't care who's playing quarterback for the Jets. They have to take some air out of the football. They have to be able to be more committed to running it with Geno Smith under center.
On 3rd down, a 4-receiver set, and Bilal Powell is in there for the Jets.
And this is where Geno is going to be really sharp. You'll see a lot of unusual looks from the Ravens on 3rd down.
Smith gets rid of it. Off the hands of Charon Peak, the rookie. Would have been enough for a 1st down. Covered there by fellow rookie Tavon Young out of Temple.
This is really nice rhythm and a good decision by Geno Smith. When he sets his feet and he has a clean pocket, he can be very effective. He's run into problems in the past where it hasn't been so clean. This is a very good throw, one that Peak has to make in that situation.
Playing without Eric Decker, placed on injured reserve with shoulder injury. Ball gets away. Ravens have an opportunity in the end zone. Ravens on the board with a touchdown. Chris Moore on the recovery, and Baltimore strikes first. Huge mistake for the Jets on special teams. Lachlan Edwards, the rookie punter, could not handle it. Right through his hands.
Just a little high, a little to the right, but obviously one he needs to handle. Huge mistake in the kicking game early on. You wonder if there's a little bit of wind. I mean, he doesn't take his eyes off. That thing just goes right through his hands. Well, every play in the kicking game is the most critical play in the game because it equals field position or points.
Rich, you are what your record says you are. The Jets are 1-5 for a reason. It hasn't been squarely on the quarterback. All phases. Extra point here for Justin Tucker. Tucker knocks it through. Baltimore has got a 7-0 lead on a snap to the punter that could not be handled. The Aussie Lachlan Edwards. He was at the bottom of a scrum that led to a Baltimore touchdown. 7-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Progressive. Handing off big savings to you. And by Honda. Great deals are waiting for you at your local Honda dealer.
So Baltimore will kick it off after the fumble recovery for a touchdown. Turned out to be a gift with the Jets deep in their own territory. The ball went right through the hands of punter Lachlan Edwards. Recovered by Chris Moore, rookie out of Cincinnati, and Justin Tucker kicks it off for Baltimore. Jalen Marshall will let that one bounce and settle in back of the end zone. The Jets will have it at the 25. Wind most certainly is affecting the goalpost right now, but should it be affecting a punter catching the football, Rich?
Yeah, you know, the rookie Lachlan Edwards, just a mistake here. There's some gust down there, but I don't know that it's significant enough to impact handling that snap. You just gotta, that's your job. It's a big mistake in a critical situation. You mentioned the problems that the Jets have had You know, they've played hard, they've played tough, as Todd Bowles told us on Friday, but they haven't played smart. They haven't been able to overcome all the mistakes, especially the turnovers.
So Jets have it at the 25-yard line. They trail Baltimore 7-0. Smith on a handoff. Forte runs off contact. Forte cutting it to the outside, and he's driven towards the perimeter. Young initially, and then Lardarius Webb for the Ravens. 5-yard pickup for Matt Forte.
Well, they have to be patient and stay committed to the running game. There are going to be some negative runs versus this defense, but you can't get discouraged. You look at the number of touches that Forte and Powell have had the last 2 weeks. Not enough. They need more touches on the ground against this Ravens defense.
We'll call it 2nd and 6. Motion man is Robbie Anderson. Stick with the ground game. And Forte crosses the 30-yard line for a pickup of 2, met there by Albert McClellan, who is playing inside, replacing C.J. Mosley. And they've had to mix and match at that linebacker position because of the injuries. We mentioned Suggs, the Mosley injury as well. So Zadarius Smith getting an opportunity, another young player. Kamale Correa, rookie out of Boise State, playing as well for Baltimore. Rookie corner, Tavon Young. Powell is in there on a 3rd and 4. 4 receiver set. Motion man Marshall. Smith has time, throws on time, and connects with Brandon Marshall for a first down across the 40-yard line. The arm strength of Smith on display. That's an 11-yard hookup.
They do a really nice job with the protection, again, giving Geno Smith some time and a good clean pocket. He does a nice job pushing the ball outside the numbers we talked about earlier in the open, and they do a terrific job moving Brandon Marshall around a little bit on 3rd down so these Ravens corners can't get their hands on him at the line of scrimmage.
Line of scrimmage is now the 42-yard line. On a give, Bilal Powell. Shot out of a cannon. Powell crosses the 45. Injured Jet on the play in the backfield after the gain of 5.
I love watching Bilal Powell. He runs with some violence. I call him the battering ram. He brings with him some energy. He's a guy that you can bring in there to bust up some ribs. He's a physical runner who knows how to finish off a run.
Injured Jet is Nick Mangold, the perennial Pro Bowler, is on his back. Medical staff checking on him. Nick Mangold, who has been so durable for this Jets squad in his 11 years with the team, is walking gingerly and is heading directly to the locker room.
And keep an eye on left tackle Ryan Clady. He's going to roll up on the back of Nick Mangold. You see him go down awkwardly, and he is headed to the locker room.
Wesley Johnson is in, 3rd-year offensive lineman from Vanderbilt. They have an extra offensive lineman with Dakota Dozier in. So they're going with 6 up front on a 2nd and 5. Handed off to Forte. Nothing there. Forte lunging for a gain of 1, hit by Brandon Williams. Be the first to know your team's news with the CBS Sports app. Get instant updates, expert analysis, highlights, and more. Download the CBS Sports app today.
You know, if I'm Ravens defensive coordinator Dean Pease, I can't allow Geno Smith to get off to a good start in this game and gain confidence. One thing the Ravens haven't been able to do is get pressure on him early in the pocket.
Dean Pease on the field. 12 plays, 8 runs, 4 passes. Motion man Anderson. Smith on a 3rd and 4. Floater knocked up in the air off of Enunwa. Incomplete. Anthony Levine, who has been Mr. Everything according to John Harbaugh, makes the play defensively.
Really good coverage here. Levine's going to undercut this route. Better throw, maybe gets it done. He's got to get that one in front of Quincy Enunwa.
Also, Rich, that would not have been enough for the first down if Enunwa made a clean catch. It was behind the marker. So Lachlan Edwards, take 2. Tanner Purdom to snap it. Edwards gets rid of it. Fans with applause for Edwards just getting the punt off.
Just catching the snap.
Baltimore will take over. They've got a 7-0 lead after the 42-yard punt from the Aussie.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Coming through the Lincoln Tunnel. Rich, we're trying to get you a side gig as a traffic reporter. You took that this morning,
I
right?
can handle that.
Play fake. Flacco dials up the deep ball. Flacco downfield. It's caught. Mike Wallace with the grab. Flacco laid it in there. Two Jet defenders, and Wallace comes away with it. 53-yard bomb.
Well, play action is so good for Joe Flacco, and you look at the squeeze that they get. They have to find out about Buster Skrine. He's been victimized by the double move, and he has struggled some covering speedy receivers, and that's the guy they want to get the ball down the field to, Mike Wallace, for the 53-yard gain.
It went right through the hands of Calvin Pryor. That was a one-receiver formation. Terrence West is back in there. West keeps the legs churning. He was injured on the first play from scrimmage. Gained 6 yards. Good block from Urschel on that left side.
That's a really nice job by the Ravens, Ian. They obviously, Buster Skrine had a difficult time on Monday night. He's one of the most penalized players in the league since he entered the league back in 2011. He's just shy of 50 penalties. And he has to win early in the route. You know, at times as you study him, he panics and he'll grab a lot of jersey.
Todd Bowles preached changes. We wonder if that will be one of them. Terrence West driving, hit by Sheldon Richardson on the play for no gain. West playing for his third team in 3 years and making a name for himself for the Baltimore Ravens. He's a local Baltimore product and said this was his dream. He's living out his dream to play for the Ravens. Grew up loving Ray Lewis. He was called Little Ray Lewis when he played Pop Warner. That's when he played defense. Then he shifted to offense, played quarterback, didn't hand the ball off to anyone, ran the ball himself on every play.
He didn't want to hand the ball off.
He didn't want to hand it off, so the coach
smart.
said, we're going to play you at running back so other people can touch the football. 3rd and 4. Flacco from the gun. It's offline. Rashad Perriman was the intended receiver. Right now they're looking at a 49, 50-yard attempt. Justin Tucker has been perfect this season, and he trots out onto the field. He's 15 of 15 on field goal attempts this year. He's emerged as the best kicker in the NFL.
He gives them consistency and production in the kicking game, no question about it. I saw him try a fake with him a couple weeks ago, and he lined up as a left-footed kicker. That was maybe the first indicator that they weren't going to kick the field goal.
He's made 22 in a row. This is from 50 yards away, dealing with the wind. Tucker nails it. Ravens take a 10-0 lead. And he would have had no problem if that was from 70 yards away, the way that ball carried for Justin Tucker. Ravens get points after the Flacco long pass to Wallace. Harbaugh made his bones on special teams. He likes it.
Watching the NFL on CBS.
Baltimore at 3-3 is one game behind the first place Steelers in the AFC North. With the injury to Ben Roethlisberger, the door is open as the Ravens try to rediscover their winning ways. They've got a 10-0 lead on the Jets. Kickoff from Tucker, scooped up by Jalen Marshall. Marshall stutter step, squeezes through to the 24-yard line, brought down by Juszczyk on special teams. Your weekend starts on Thursday. The Jacksonville Jaguars tangle with the Tennessee Titans, only on NFL Network.
You know, you hate to say this early in the game that this is a critical drive for the Jets, but you know, they can't afford to fall behind by 3 scores. It really gets them away from who they are and what they want to do with Geno Smith. They don't want Geno Smith dropping back and having to throw the ball 50 times in this game against this Baltimore defense.
Yeah, that was part of the reason with Ryan Fitzpatrick things went south. Playing from behind, forcing the ball in the fourth quarter, and interceptions that piled up throughout the course of the first 6 weeks. On first down, it's Forte. Not much there. He's wrapped up. Gerard Powers helping out in run support. Give him a gain of 3 on the play. NFL Today update. JB and Tony Gonzalez in New York.
Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Yeah, you're going to see Alex Smith get the quick throw to Spencer Ware. He's going to do the rest. He's going to take this 46 yards for the touchdown. That capped a 5-play, 75-yard drive. All tied up, 7-7.
Ian knows that KC has won 8 straight at home. Back to Ian Eagle.
And JB, Jamal Charles not 100%, but Spencer Ware has stepped forward and provided a lift for Kansas City. Smith, he does have skills with those legs. And a slide right at the marker, and it will be enough for a first down. They'll move the chains.
And this is what Geno Smith can really do. This concerns a defensive coordinator. You cannot give him a rush lane. He does a good job pulling it down and running. And I would encourage more of this from Geno Smith. If he can run for a couple first downs each week, that really would help their offense.
Did you expect to see some zone read here with Geno Smith, something that he's accustomed to?
And I'd be surprised if we don't see it here in the next couple series.
Play action. Smith, clean pocket, guns it, dropped, and that's been an issue for Brandon Marshall. Six-time Pro Bowler.
I've really been impressed with the way Geno Smith is throwing the football right now. Takes an extra hitch there. This would have been a tough catch for Brandon Marshall. But look how Geno Smith's setting his feet, driving the ball down the field and ignoring the rush.
We asked Geno about being the backup quarterback. He said, it taught me how to be a good teammate. That's the hardest position in football because you have to prepare like the starter and you never know when the opportunity is going to pop up. He spoke with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He said that Fitzpatrick told him, go out and play well, and I'm here for you. Clock a problem there as it was ticking away, and Baltimore's got a 10-0 lead on the Jets in the first. Jets had to use a timeout because they had 12 men in the huddle. Robbie Anderson was trying to get off, and the Jets used their first timeout. 3:01 to play in this first quarter. Geno Smith so far 2 of 6, 19 yards.
The numbers aren't great. You and I were just talking during the break, though. I like the way he's throwing the ball. He's been very deliberate. The ball's coming out of his hands. You got to win. You got to win against man-to-man coverage, and they're going to see a ton of it today from this Ravens secondary.
Working out of the gun. Smith has not faced a lot of pressure. A little shovel pass for Forte, and the Ravens ready for it. They bury him after the gain of 1 at the 35-yard line. Sets up third down. We go downstairs to Evan Washburn.
Well, Lions, still no sign of Nick Mangold. Previous series we saw him get rolled up on. They're calling an ankle injury on that right side. His return is questionable. And we also saw Terrence West go out early in this game. He came back in, just a heavy tape job on that ankle.
All right, thanks, Evan. West, who has put up some good numbers in recent weeks and has found a home with the Baltimore Ravens. It's been a bright spot in the run game. Question, was there a flag on that play? Officials just huddled up.
Illegal hands to the face, number 22, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's Jimmy Smith, who disagreed with the call from our referee, Walt Anderson.
With the penalties eyeing for the Ravens. Last week they committed 15 penalties against the Giants. On the season they've already had 52, which is the second most in football. Keep shooting themselves in the foot with these penalties. Drives coordinators like Dean Pease absolutely crazy on the sidelines.
Jalen Marshall in at receiver. And he's the motion man. And there's a flag. The wind might just take that thing. You got to be careful.
False start, number 15, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And that's against Brandon Marshall. False start on the 11-year veteran.
You wonder when you change quarterbacks, you change cadence, if that has anything to do with it. Shouldn't affect a guy like Brandon Marshall, who's lined up outside. He should be looking at the ball the whole way. It's a good matchup to watch. Jimmy Smith on Brandon Marshall.
Smith suffered a concussion, didn't play in the second half last week, and that's when Beckham could not be stopped by Baltimore. Play fake. Smith trying to get out of trouble. He's down. Could not break away from big Brandon Williams. It's a loss of 3 on the play.
I think Williams is one of the best run-stuffing nose tackles in the league, but he can also rush the passer. Geno Smith's got plenty of time here. And I mentioned earlier in the open sometimes the best play, sometimes the only play is to throw the ball away. He's got to be able to avoid the negative plays. The sacks and the turnovers at that position have been a killer so far for the Jets this season.
So you have the penalty compounded by the sack, and the Jets now face a 2nd and 18 with 1:28 to go in this first quarter. 4 receivers set. Ravens lead at 10-0. They scored on a touchdown when the ball went through the punter's hands. Quincy Enunwa. Catch and run. Enunwa is gone. Touchdown, Jets. 69 yards. Smith on the hookup to Enunwa.
Well, just a little curl route. You look at Enunwa, he sits down in the zone coverage. You know, when you think of Quincy Enunwa, you think of a possession-type receiver who was more power than speed and quickness. But look at him run away from that Ravens secondary.
Rich, that was by far the Jets' longest play of the season.
Well, he leads the team with 30 receptions coming into today's game. You can't let him get outside. Orr, who's been such a steady tackler, but look at the speed. We don't think of Quincy Enunwa as a speedster at the wide receiver position.
Enunwa kicked it into another gear and takes it the distance as Folk tacks on the extra point. These have been few and far between for the Jets. On a 2nd and 18, they cash in. 69-yard catch and run for Enunwa. First offensive touchdown since week 5 at Pittsburgh for the New York Jets, who enter action at 1-5. Quincy Enunwa moving up to that number 2 receiver spot with the injury to Eric Decker. And Enunwa did the work. Their longest play of the year, Rich, before that pass play was 41 yards. That one went for 69.
I always say I think he's better in the slot than outside the numbers. Receivers like Quincy Enunwa are unusual. I think defensive backs have a tough time rerouting him because of his size and strength.
On the kick by Folk, Devin Hester will take a knee. Ravens will have it at the 25-yard line to open up the drive.
Well, you go back and look at the touchdown. Enunwa's inside. He's just going to run the curl route, and Orr has to find a way to get over there. You talk about anticipation, timing, and rhythm of the passing game. Geno gets it to him accurately, and it allows him to get into the transition of the run. This is what surprised me, though, is his speed once he got up on the second level. Take a peek at the scoreboard. See, a lot of these receivers now will take a peek to see what's behind them as they're running towards the end zone.
You talked about that Geno Smith confidence. That'll give you confidence when your wide receiver goes out and makes a play like that.
You know, I just got the sense when we visited with him on Friday that he had learned a little bit about taking care of the football, the experiences of the push there.
Hand off to Terrence West. 6 offensive linemen for Baltimore, and it doesn't do the trick. Steve McClendon, who's very familiar with the Ravens after his days in Pittsburgh, makes the stop.
Look at the push McClendon gets on Jeremy Zuttah. He pushes him so far back into the quarterback that Flacco has a difficult time with the exchange point. The strength of this Jets defense, without question, Ian, is their defensive line. They've got a lot of money tied up in that unit and a lot of first-round picks as well.
Muhammad Wilkerson inactive today, had ankle surgery in January. That ankle has been giving him trouble. Shotgun on 2nd and 10. Flacco slammed down by Richardson.
Well, just look at Richardson. I mean, he's just going to beat the left guard, Urschel, up the field. We talked about the changes that the Ravens have had along the offensive line. Without 3 starters last week against the Giants, without 2 this week, Yanda and Stanley. And as you said, Ian, that affects everything they do up front with their protections.
End of the first quarter with the Baltimore Ravens in front of the Jets, 10-7. We'll come back to the Meadowlands after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. As we start the second quarter here at MetLife, the Jets controlled time of possession in that first half. Baltimore got its touchdown on a a special teams gaffe, and now the Ravens facing a 3rd and 19. Catch on Kamar Aiken against Williams. And Aiken picks up 20 on a 3rd and 19. Flacco delivers to Aiken, and they'll move the chains.
And Joe Flacco told us last night they have to be able to win inside. You see Aiken, he's able to get up on Marcus Williams. He really gets him turned. The Jets playing 2 deep coverage and playing man-to-man inside on the slot where Aiken was able to win.
Baltimore Ravens have never lost 4 in a row under John Harbaugh. And off to Terrence West. Banged down short of the 40-yard line by Sheldon Richardson. He picks up 3 on the play. It's a 3-game losing streak right now for Baltimore. 4th 3-game losing streak in the last 2 seasons for the Ravens.
And I think adversity is a big part of the game, and I'm anxious to see how they respond.
2nd and 7 for Baltimore. We're just underway in the 2nd quarter. Ian Eagle, Rich Gannon, Evan Washburn, the rest of our NFL on CBS crew. Play fake. Flacco on time. And the grab by Pitta. Flacco has cracked 30,000 yards in his career on that throw to Dennis Pitta. It covers 12 yards. Quite a story that Pitta has even made it back to the NFL considering all the injuries over the last 3 seasons. Aiken the catch, works it to the sideline, and Baltimore's moving the football right now.
Well, any questions or concerns about Flacco's arm strength, I think have been answered here in the first half. I think he's throwing the ball well. It's coming out early. You saw him push the ball down the field. Just got to give him a clean pocket. He has been rushed too much the last 3 weeks.
He struggled with his accuracy last week. 27-23 loss to the Giants right here at MetLife. Flacco puts a mustard on it to Perriman. And it's another Baltimore first down. Targeting Revis on that play. And it covers 11 yards.
Now look at the cushion that Revis gives Perriman. Perriman, a bigger receiver. He has all the size and the speed that you want out of a playmaking receiver. It's taken him a while. He missed all of last season. He's been slow to develop within this scheme.
They'll go with 3 tight ends in this formation. Pitta, Gilmore, and Waller. And a shotgun for Flacco. Fake it. Another pump. Flacco out of the pocket. Flacco on the move looking for an angle, and he is out of bounds. He did take a hit along that sideline. Flacco was wondering where the flag is. Give him a gain of 1.
You always say don't ease up on the boundary if you're a quarterback. That's where you get hurt. Jordan Jenkins took a good shot at Flacco. Joe Flacco, you got to make sure you get out of bounds. Clearly he was out of bounds there. That could have been a penalty.
Absolutely. Jenkins hit him on the white of that sideline. 2nd and 9 for Baltimore.
This is the 2nd charge timeout.
And a timeout called by the Jets on defense with Baltimore moving the football now inside the 35-yard line. Coming up tomorrow, TV's #1 new comedy now starts a half hour earlier. Don't miss special guest Ray Romano when he visits Kevin Can Wait. That's tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. Well, Rich, we mentioned the change at offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. We asked Joe Flacco about it, and he said, look, it's disappointing when a change is made because it's an indication that the offense is not running smoothly. Marty Mornhinweg is in. He's got a good relationship with Marty, who was coaching the quarterbacks, but the bigger picture means that Baltimore was not getting it done on that side of the ball.
Yeah, you never want to have that happen on your watch. You know, you don't want to see a coach get fired. They put so much time and effort into putting great game plans together. We did talk with Marty Mornhinweg the other day, and he spent a great deal of time really reevaluating where they go from here as an offense after the changeover. But I do know this, and you can't make wholesale changes in the middle of the season. You can tweak some things.
Flacco. The timing was off. Kamar Aiken, the intended receiver. Mike Wallace in the area as well. It's now 3rd and 9 for the Ravens. NFL Today update. JB and Tony.
Tyrod sharing more of the burden.
Yeah, Buffalo's the leading rushing team in the NFL. And Tyrod Taylor's the leading quarterback rusher in the league. And he scores right there, puts the Bills up 10-3 over the Miami.
Something Rich Gannon did a lot of, good with his feet as well. Back to Iron Eagle.
Well, that's been a big story, guys, in the first part of this season. The revival of the Buffalo Bills. 10th play of the drive for the Baltimore Ravens. And a 3rd and 9. Flacco tosses. Jets got him by his feet. Lorenzo Malden put pressure on Joe Flacco. And it's 4th down for Baltimore.
You look at Flacco, and he misses some throws sometimes. I think because he has a tendency to fade away. You see Molden, he comes off the corner just enough to put some pressure on Flacco. He has a tendency to fade away when there's a rush and pressure off the edge, as opposed to stepping up inside. It's something they're trying to get fixed.
49-yard attempt for Justin Tucker, and he's kicking into the wind. Tucker connects. He is locked in. 13-7. Baltimore now in front. Second quarter action continues from East Rutherford, New Jersey. Ravens go 44 yards in 11 plays. Remember, they faced a 3rd and 19, and Flacco completed a 20-yard pass downfield to keep the drive alive. They get 3 points. 49-yard field goal from Tucker to extend the lead. 13-7 Baltimore, 11:57 to play in the first half. Tucker will now kick it off with Jalen Marshall deep for New York. Tucker drills it. Marshall moves forward, thought about it, now will take it out. Marshall trying to get to the outside. And driven down just across the 15-yard line by Juszczyk. Screening saves lives, and the NFL and the American Cancer Society encourage everyone to join in the fight against breast cancer. Learn more about a Crucial Catch Day on Tuesday and find out how you can help make a crucial catch at NFL.com/pink. Wesley Johnson remains in at center, replacing Nick Mangold, who went out with an apparent ankle injury. Motion man is Anderson, the rookie out of Temple. The Jets trail 13-7. Smith to the sideline, Forte, and he's out of bounds. Good gain on first down, working against Zachary Orr for 7.
Well, it's taken Gino a while to find his rhythm in the passing game. He missed a couple throws early. He takes a sack on first down, but he's able to come back. He throws a perfect strike to Quincy Enunwa, who's off to the races for a 69-yard touchdown. That will help his confidence.
Asked him about the interceptions in the past. He said a lot of them came when the team was trailing games. He was trying to do too much. Forte on the spin. A lot of activity in there, and Forte had no room to work. 1-yard pickup.
You asked me about my interceptions in the past, and I'll tell you they're somebody else's fault.
I get it. But he did add that there are no asterisks with interception. So he acknowledged the fact that you could come up with excuses, but an interception is an interception.
You know, and it took me a while to figure it out. I mean, the importance of ball security. It wasn't until Marty Schottenheimer in Kansas City told me that you won't make this team if you don't take care of the football, that it finally hit me. And I think Gino has probably had that conversation with Todd Bowles. He understands this is his last opportunity here in New York. He has to take care of the football.
3rd and 2 now for the Jets. Running play again. Powers his way. Every time he touches the ball, something positive seems to happen. That's a 9-yard gain with Carpenter and Johnson doing the dirty work up front.
And look at Quincy Enunwa. He's going to go in there and get a block. I think he's one of the best blocking receivers in the game. And I love Bilal Powell. I talked to you about him being a battering ram. And look at him lower the boom on Orr. Always seems to be falling forward at the end of runs.
Jets obviously agreed with you. They signed him to a 3-year, $11.25 million deal as a 1A and 1B option at running back with Matt Forte. Powell again. Falls forward, short of the 35. Timmy Jernigan, first man there. They limit him to a gain of 1, 2nd and long.
You look at the Ravens defense. They're #1 run defense in football right now. They've always been a difficult defense to run the ball against. You're getting up less than 70 yards a game on the ground, and I think they do a great job flying to the football. They get a lot of hats to the ball. They play with great energy, and this is a group that tackles well at all three levels.
Two tight ends in this formation, Davis and Bostic on a 2nd and 9. Draw play. Powell cuts to the outside and hit down low by McClellan. Ravens have had a lot of success with undrafted linebackers through the years, including our own colleague Bart Scott. But you throw McClellan into that mix. Zachary Orr is the latest one for Baltimore. They seem to find guys. Powell goes to the sideline. Ozzie Newsome, who has been with the Ravens since day one as the general manager and has won 2 Super Bowls in that role, a Hall of Famer based on his 13-year playing career with the Cleveland Browns. 3rd and 6 now for New York. 8:34 to go. We're in the second quarter with the Ravens in front 13-7. Smith sensing pressure. Smith in trouble. Smith brought down. Matt Judon, the rookie. Grand Valley State Division II product. And Judon gets to the quarterback, a loss of 8.
Yeah, you can see the pressure coming up inside, and talked about a clean pocket. This is where Geno's going to be challenged on 3rd down. Finding a quick answer throw, not holding the ball, not taking unnecessary sacks in that situation.
And Geno Smith clearly limping as he went to the New York sideline. Hester, the return man. Hester takes the opening, gets knocked along the sideline and out of bounds. A 9-yard return, 46-yard punt. Geno Smith trying to brace his fall against Judon. He went down awkwardly, and the Baltimore defense comes up big.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Touch of Gray for that perfect salt and pepper look. Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network. And by Intel. Upgrade to a new PC with powerful performance.
Picturesque Sunday here in the New York area, but this is not the picture that Geno Smith was hoping to provide. They are checking the right leg of Smith on the Jet sideline. Meanwhile, Flacco throws to a spot and hits his man, Mike Wallace, for a 1st down. Let's check in right now with Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, and a lot of concern on this Jet sideline. You mentioned the right leg. It appears to be the right knee that they're testing the stability of it. Geno tried to get up as he made his way to the sideline onto the bench. Getting back up, it became more and more difficult to put weight on that right leg. Ryan Fitzpatrick is currently warming up his arm. We'll keep an eye on it.
We talked to John Harbaugh about going against Geno Smith. He said, look, he's got arm talent. I've watched all the throws.
False start, number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's Alex Lewis, who's playing out of position now at left tackle as Ryan Fitzpatrick warms up along the Jets sideline. Harbaugh said Marty Mornhinweg speaks very highly of Geno Smith, spent time with him when he was a part of the Jets coaching staff. But then Harbaugh ended the statement by saying, for whatever reason, bad things seem to happen to Geno Smith.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of luck. There's no question about that. The struggles he had in his first 2 seasons, he gets punched in the face and he misses the start of last season.
Terrence West has got room.
Wow.
Terrence West! West breaking it down the sideline and a flag thrown back at the 44-yard line. A foot race.
Holding, number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
It's back-to-back. Alex Lewis, the rookie out of Nebraska, just negated a 49-yard run.
Yeah, you talk about following your wingman. A good look at this run. Stay on the back of Juszczyk, and Terrence West does the rest. You see the kick out on the safety. West is up on the second level, runs right through that arm tackle of Darrelle Revis. You see the penalty right there. The grab on David Harris.
And a linebacker down. It's Bruce Carter, who had stepped in for Aaron Henderson and Darren Lee. We'll step aside. Depth being tested right now for the New York Jets defensively as Bruce Carter is limping. Geno Smith, the knee injury for Smith, he's headed to the locker room. Julian Stanford, who was just activated off the practice squad last night, is now in at linebacker. Flacco tosses to Mike Wallace, trying to create after the catch. And Wallace is brought down after the gain of 5 by Buster Screen.
I really like Mike Wallace. I think he's become a better route runner. He's got rare speed at the wide out position. You know, he quickly eat up the cushion between himself and the defender. I think he's done a much better job catching the football. Some problems with some drops early in his career.
Telefero is in along with Juszczyk, flanking Flacco on a 2nd and 20. From the gun, deep drop. Flacco to Telefero. He's tackled across the 45-yard line by a combination. Julian Stanford was over there. 8-yard gain on a catch and run by Telefero.
You know, we're seeing a lot more two-deep coverage from this Jets secondary, and you wonder if it's because the corners have struggled a little bit. Teams are going after Darrelle Revis a little bit more. We talked about the issues that Buster Screen has had at the other cornerback position. That's why Flacco's working inside the numbers quite a bit here in the first half.
It's a 4-receiver set on a 3rd and 12. Flacco lets it rip, but not enough for the first down. Dennis Pitta is short. Stanford there in tight coverage. And now what do you do if that is a yard shy, which it is?
Well, they're going to punt, but this is a pretty good throw. That's the matchup they want. They want the tight end, Dennis Pitta, on the linebacker. You see the frustration from Marty Morningweg. Just a yard short. Got to get your depth. You have to know where those first down sticks are at all times.
It's 4th and a long one for Baltimore, so Sam Cook will punt it with Jalen Marshall standing at the 10-yard line for New York.
This makes sense. Pin him back and take a look at Ryan Fitzpatrick. He probably hasn't had a single rep this week in practice, Ian.
A high punt, and this one is out of bounds. They will mark it out at the 15-yard line. Well, somehow, in the roller coaster ride that is New York Jets football, Ryan Fitzpatrick is back in at quarterback.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by AutoTrader. Find your perfect new, used, or certified car on AutoTrader.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is back at quarterback for the New York Jets. A right knee injury to Geno Smith. Fitzpatrick this season leads the NFL in interceptions with 11. He's got 14 picks over his last 7 games going back to the regular season finale last year in Buffalo. Forte is stacked up. Michael Pierce, rookie out of Samford, first man there. And Forte picks up only a yard.
Well, we were talking off the air, Ian, about the fact that Ryan Fitzpatrick probably hasn't had a single rep in practice this week, but I don't think it is a huge deal. Obviously, the play caller, Chan Gailey, has great history with him. The plan, how's it changed now with Fitzpatrick? And I think you'll see him in the gun a little bit more. He'll spread you out. He likes to be in these empty sets, and he likes to deal the ball quickly from the gun.
He had a remarkable run last season, set a Jets record 31 touchdown passes last year for Fitzpatrick. Throws it, caught by Nunwa underneath, and he's brought down just across the 20-yard line by Tavon Young. Down to Evan Washburn.
Well, and Geno Smith remains in the locker room currently. The official word is questionable for his return. Remember, it's a right knee injury. And also, Bruce Carter, not as good a news, doubtful with a quad injury. So thin at linebacker for the Jets, and no Geno on the field at the moment.
All right, Evan, we're down to 3:25 to play in this first half. Baltimore's got a 13-7 advantage on the Jets. And a 4-receiver set. 6 defensive backs for the Ravens. 3rd and 5 for New York. Teron Peake goes in motion. Out of the gun, Fitzpatrick will throw it to Peake. Can he get to the marker? Yes. Pushed out of bounds. New set of downs for the Jets to work with after the 8-yard grab by Peake.
A good throw by Fitzpatrick. You see Peake, he's going to break this tackle. These Jets, they have some bigger receivers who are very good after the catch. It's a tackle that Tavon Young has to make in the open field.
Young, a 4th-round draft pick, stepping in for the injured Sharice Wright, who's out with a thigh injury. Two tight ends, Davis and Bostic. Tight ends are not a factor in the passing game for this Jets offense. Fitzpatrick throws it on time to Brandon Marshall. Brought down to the 49 by Weddle. 21-yard pass play.
And Brandon Marshall's happy. He's got his guy back, Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, Fitz likes to push the ball down the field. Good anticipation and great accuracy, fitting this one in between the linebackers and the safeties. And if there's one thing that Fitzpatrick does, he likes to find 15.
On the draw, Forte. Excellent vision by Forte. Hit from behind. Ajalana and Johnson create some space. It's an 8-yard pickup for Matt Forte as we've hit the 2-minute warning in the second quarter. 13-7 Ravens. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher, latest NFL scores and highlights, and a preview of Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Under 2 minutes to go, a little trickery here. Robbie Anderson. Anderson down the sideline. And veers out of bounds. Chan Gailey going to the bag of tricks as Jimmy Smith got spun around like a top. And Anderson with a 30-yard rip for the Jets.
Yeah, you see the hold up inside, and he's just going to flip it to the speedy Robbie Anderson on the end around. Nice job on the kick out by Winters. And this kid has some speed. Just to find more creative ways to get him some touches in space.
Longest run of the season for the Jets. Fitzpatrick tosses it in. Forte takes it in for the touchdown. Ryan Fitzpatrick leads the Jets down the field in a reserve role. And the Jets an extra point away from taking the lead late second quarter.
Really nice job on the screen. You're going to see Forte's part of the protection, and then he's going to turn the end man on the line of scrimmage loose. Fitz is just able to flip it to him. He's able to find that big offensive line out in front of him that does the rest. Really nice design here by Chan Gailey. The screen game has been very effective against this Ravens defense.
Perfectly executed middle screen. Fitzpatrick to Forte. Fitzpatrick 4 of 4 on the drive for 46 yards. And Nick Folk hits on the extra point to give the Jets a 14-13 lead.
A good start, Ian, by Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm sure there were some nerves there coming in off the bench. Hadn't taken any reps this week. He was benched. It's been a difficult week for him, but he's handled it like a pro.
You think about the whirlwind that's taken place over the last year and change for the Jets. Geno Smith was the #1 quarterback prior to last season before getting punched in the face by Iken Enemkpali in the locker room. And Fitzpatrick had to step in and stabilize things. The chemistry that developed between Fitzpatrick and Marshall and the rest of his teammates, and the belief in that locker room that Fitzpatrick could do the job, that led to the 10-6 season, nearly made the playoffs, lost to Buffalo.
Yeah,
this year, Fitzpatrick is the guy, and Rich, it just wasn't working. It wasn't clicking. That's why Todd Bowles had to make the change.
There's no question. He really played well last year. This team really responded to his leadership and his play on the field. He missed the entire offseason program. I think that's significant. When you're not around your teammates, he did participate in training camp, but he got off to a slow start. And you mentioned the turnovers, and that's really been a problem for him. At times when they fall behind in games, he becomes overly aggressive. He tries to fit balls into tight windows. And the interceptions, just too much to overcome this season. 11 interceptions. The completion percentage, also a concern. It's the worst in football. It was a bad combination for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Nick Folk kicks it off, and Hester will not even touch it. On a week where Ryan Fitzpatrick is the backup quarterback, Fitzpatrick gets in the game because of this. Geno Smith on the sack.
Yeah, they bring a blitz. He doesn't see it early enough. He lands awkwardly on that right knee. You see there, he was being examined by the orthopedic surgeon on the sidelines, and he had to leave the field.
So his return is questionable. Meanwhile, Fitzpatrick went 4 of 4 for 46 yards and the touchdown to Forte. And the Ravens all of a sudden looking up at the Jets on the scoreboard, 14-13. Flacco, quick hitter. Telefero with the catch, and he's tackled there by David Harris, 4.5-yard gain.
Well, the Ravens have some time here now. They've got just inside a minute 30. They've got a couple timeouts left. We know Flacco throws the deep ball well.
2nd and 6. Flacco floats it. The Jets were ready for Telefero. Sheldon Richardson sniffed it out for New York.
Boy, Sheldon Richardson is a handful. Talk about the talent that they have along the defensive line position. He sees it the whole way. He sees the back try to sneak out. He and his teammate David Harris right there for the stop.
74.
So it sets up a 3rd and 8.
51, Mike. 51.
This crowd rejuvenated at MetLife Stadium, where the Jets now leading at 14-13, under a minute to go in the half. Flacco, a dart. It's complete. Kamar Aiken downfield. Tight coverage there from Marcus Williams, and Aiken wins the battle.
Well, here's the problem. You're seeing so much two-deep coverage that they know they have to win inside when they've got one-on-one. Flacco does a terrific job. He knows this is where he went the last time they had a 3rd down. They attack inside against the two-deep coverage.
Aiken was banged up on the play. 29 yards on the pass from Flacco. Ravens playing without Steve Smith Sr., who continues to sit after suffering an ankle injury against Washington on October the 9th.
It lands on his head.
Somehow maintains possession as Williams was trying to jar it loose. Flacco has hit on his last 7 passes. They're checking on Aiken. Flacco off his back foot, in stride. Dennis Pitta hit down low, and Baltimore will use a timeout. Marcus Williams will get credit for the tackle. 12-yard catch and run. And Baltimore has moved into field goal range. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB and the rest of the gang, scores and highlights, and a preview of Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Ravens are out of timeouts. Line of scrimmage is now the 33-yard line. Calvin Pryor has taken the helmet off, and the trainer is having a chat with him.
He came on the blitz on the previous play, and he gets hit by Jeremy Zuttah. I don't think he saw it coming.
They are going down left and right on both sides.
One.
Two teams that were already dealing with significant injuries. From the gun, Flacco to the end zone. Nearly intercepted by Williams. Mike Wallace, the intended target.
This is good coverage by Marcus Williams.
Ooh.
He outjumps Mike Wallace. This ball hung up a little bit, and I think it fooled Mike Wallace.
Williams got the left arm around the elbow of Wallace. And the leap by Williams put him at the advantage in that one-on-one matchup. On 2nd and 10. Flacco hits Chris Moore. And the clock is moving. 25-yard line. 16 seconds left. Baltimore has no timeouts.
Just clock it here. And Joe's going to take the time all the way inside a couple seconds and then clock it.
And he does with the spike. Stops the clock with 4 seconds left. Field goal unit is coming on, trying to give Baltimore the lead as they hit the break. So they took a deep shot, and Marcus Williams may have gotten away with one for the Jets in that matchup against Mike Wallace. And the Ravens will line up with Justin Tucker on a 44-yard attempt. He has not missed this season. For the lead, Tucker curving through. He's got it. 16-14, the Ravens in front. A corkscrew from Tucker.
Good snap, good hold, and good kick. Boy, it's a luxury to have a place kicker like Justin Tucker on your roster.
We hit the break with the Ravens leading it 16-14. The Jets will have the football to start the second half, and we'll come back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The Ravens and the Jets in a tight one at halftime. Gets away in the end zone. Chris Moore on the recovery, and Baltimore strikes first. Catch and run. Enunwa is gone. 69 yards. Touchdown Jets. Getting ready for the start of the second half with the Ravens in front of the Jets. 16-14. Right now, let's take a look at Who Are You Lovin'? Presented by McDonald's. The Jets, Fitzpatrick to Forte for the touchdown.
Yeah, he came in off the bench cold. I thought he made a couple really nice throws. He pushed the ball down the field. He was able to find Forte on the screen. 4 for 4. That's a good start for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ian Eagle along with Rich Gannon, Evan Washburn down on the sidelines. Geno Smith told us how eager and excited he was to get back in there, run the team, be the starter for the Jets. And his day seemingly has ended early with a right knee injury. Ryan Fitzpatrick back under center and calling the plays now for the Jets as the quarterback. What a strange turn of events for this franchise.
Kind of ironic, and you and I were just talking, you feel bad for a guy like Geno Smith. He's worked so hard to try to get back on the field, and this is a great opportunity once again for Ryan Fitzpatrick to earn back the trust and the respect and the confidence of his teammates and coaches.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is in his 12th year in the NFL. He's had 9 lives or more.
He's been on about half dozen teams or more, and that's part of the problem. Is he's not shown he has the ability over the long haul to take care of the football and make good decisions.
Meanwhile, Baltimore has got the lead. A late field goal from Tucker puts the Ravens in front, and the kickoff from Tucker to Marshall is a touchback. Let's go to Evan Washburn.
Well, and let's start with the Jets and the big story in Geno Smith. We saw him go to the locker room, still has not come out of the locker room. So emergency quarterback, if Fitzpatrick was to go down, is Bilal Powell. I spoke with Todd Bowles about that at halftime. Other than the obvious injuries, he's happy with the way his team has played. Feels like they're giving up the big play through the middle. As for John Harbaugh, the 2 priorities have to be tackling on the catch and run and the penalties, which have been an issue all season.
All right, Evan, thanks very much. 4 quarterbacks on the roster, but only 2 active. Bryce Petty and Hackenberg are both inactive. Handoff to Forte to start this second half, and it's a 1-yard pickup. Brandon Williams and Lawrence Guy collaborate on the hit.
Talk about the quarterback situation for the Jets. And they're one of the only team in football that carry 4 quarterbacks, and so you have to figure out what you have. There's a good look at Geno. He's in street clothes. He's not going to play the rest of the today. And of course, you've got 2 other quarterbacks for the Jets in street clothes today: Bryce Petty and Christian Hackenberg.
The frustration for Geno Smith trying to revive his NFL career. Fitzpatrick hooks up with Forte. Matt Forte still going in Baltimore territory and brought down at the 42. Zachary Orr whiffed on a tackle, and Forte turns it upfield to the tune of 31 yards.
Well, this is the touchdown play. This is the same one we saw the opposite direction. He's going to go to his left this time, and they do a terrific job. You look at the offensive line. Winters gets out in front. You see the big tackle or center Wesley Johnson. He's out in front. They just flipped it over. They ran it to the right earlier, and then they ran that one to the left.
So Matt Forte has been more involved than he had been in previous weeks. And the Jets are now in Baltimore territory. We are just underway in the 3rd quarter. Fitzpatrick steps up and takes a shot. Tries to flip it at the end of the play. The question is, was he down?
Quarterback was in the grass. Second down.
He was. Michael Pierce, big number, 78, 6 foot, 339 pounds, brings down Fitzpatrick.
Just keep an eye on the back, who's wide open in the flat. I think sometimes Ryan Fitzpatrick tries to bite off more than he can chew. I mean, look, give it to the back. He's wide open. Don't take the sack in that situation. Sometimes he becomes overly aggressive and he wants to push the ball down the field. He wants the big play. Sometimes the best play, the only play, is to check it down and move on.
Shotgun. Fitzpatrick fires to Brandon Marshall, and he is spun down by Tavon Young. Positive for Baltimore on the defensive side. They came into the week with 11 sacks on the season, and Terrell Suggs had 5 of them. They've got 3 today against the Jets.
I'm surprised they haven't brought more pressure, especially when we saw Geno Smith in there. Now you've got Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, he's struggling a little bit with his confidence. He leads the league in interceptions. They need to be able to get some hits on Fitzpatrick.
In the first 6 games, the Jets went up against 5 playoff teams from last season. They lost all of them. This is a stretch of games that could be considered winnable for the Jets. Fitzpatrick on a 3rd and 6. And Fitzpatrick is devoured by Jernigan. Timmy Jernigan with his 4th sack of the season. And the Jets' drive stalls right around midfield.
Yeah, good look at Jernigan. He's right over the center. Great instincts and agility, plays low and with great leverage. And he is having an outstanding season for the Ravens. You talk to Dean Pease, you talk to John Harbaugh, the one player that they signal out on that defensive line has been the play of Timmy Jernigan.
So Lachlan Edwards out to punt it with Devin Hester waiting for it at the 10. Edwards, almost a pooch from Edwards. There was pressure, and it's out of bounds. Baltimore's going to get it at the 28-yard line. Wow. Ravens, after the 17-yard punt, take over.
Telecast is copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Baltimore's got the lead and the football. 16-14 Ravens, 11-18 to go in the 3rd. Flacco throws on 1st down to Mike Wallace. And hit along the sideline by Buster Screen and Julian Stanford.
Yeah, good looking first half for Joe Flacco. 15 of 22 for 200 yards. I really thought he threw the deep ball well. Remember the questions and concerns about the shoulder strength. Anytime he needs a completion, he usually works back inside to his tight end, Dennis Pitta. And again, attacking 2 deep coverage in the middle of the field.
And no big mistakes on offense, other than penalties, which has been an issue throughout the season. Telefero met by Leonard Williams. And a loss of 1 on the play.
And I'm a little surprised they haven't tried to run the football more in the first half. West had just the 5 carries for 11 yards. The Ravens had only 12 rushing yards. And part of the problem that they've had so far this season, Flacco's thrown it too much. He's averaging 44 throws a game.
2nd and 11. He's thrown more than any quarterback in the NFL this season. Mike Wallace with the catch. Buster Screen there defensively. And they pick up 3.5 yards on the play.
And all things being equal, they're working away from Darrelle Revis and really attacking the other cornerbacks. They're going after Buster Screen. They've had success throwing the ball down the middle of the field against Marcus Williams. You know, you look at the corners for the Jets, including Darrelle Revis. This group collectively has to play with more production and consistency. They have given up way too many big plays on the back end.
51 Mike.
3rd and 6.
Wanda.
From the 43. Flacco. Deep ball. Incomplete. 1-on-1. It was Wallace and Screen, and Mike Wallace could not fight through Screen, who sealed him off. Buster Screen limping a bit after the play.
Now check out Flacco's footwork. He has a tendency to bounce back rather than step up in the pocket, and I think it affects his deep ball accuracy. This ball doesn't get enough on it. You see Wallace, he has to come back. Joe's able to step up into the pocket. He is so much more effective and accurate down the field.
Sam Cook will kick it away. Jalen Marshall at the 10. Pressure, they nearly got it. High punt from Cook. And this one's going to roll inside the 5. Baltimore downs it. It's Darren Waller, backup tight end, making his way down the field. That's a 55-yard punt. Jets are deep in their own territory. Fitzpatrick and Geno Smith, quarterback, sharing a moment. It's Fitzpatrick's time right now.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Charles Schwab. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Mike's 50, Mike's 50.
Jets are pinned deep in their own territory. They are minus 12 on turnover differential. Worst mark in the NFL. Matt Forte trying to give the Jets some breathing room. He goes up the middle for 3 yards. Brought down by Zadarius Smith and Albert McClellan for Baltimore. Tomorrow on CBS, Matt LeBlanc returns to television in the new comedy Man with a Plan. Don't miss the premiere tomorrow after Kevin Can Wait right here on CBS.
I'm sure halftime was an opportunity for offensive coordinator Chan Gailey to sit down with his quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick and talk about some of the adjustments, some of the things they may do differently in the second half now that Fitzpatrick is under center.
2nd and 7. A quick toss. Roddy Anderson trying to break free. He is brought down from behind just across the 10. That's a 5-yard pickup. Tavon Young will get credit for the tackle, and now it's 3rd and short here for the Jets.
When you study this Ravens defense, the pressures, they're hard to get home. The quarterbacks, team offenses are getting the ball out so quickly. I talked to Ravens defensive coordinator Dean Pease. He said teams aren't holding the football against them. Last week, Eli Manning, 21 of his throws had a get-off time of 1.7 seconds or less. And when it's coming out that fast, the pass rush isn't so much a factor.
It's a 3rd and 2. Fitzpatrick is 7 of 7. Fitzpatrick knocked down. He threw it at the chest of Zadarius Smith. Baltimore's defense holds. It's a 3 and out for New York.
Yeah, you got to get a hat on the end man on the line of scrimmage. Nobody touches Zadarius Smith. It's just too easy of a play for him.
A sidearm toss from Fitzpatrick, trying to get rid of it quickly, and now this is an opportunity for Devin Hester standing at midfield. Edwards, high punt, and over end. And Hester controls it, upset it himself. One of the best to ever do it. Ravens get the football back after the 48-yard punt. They lead by 2. New franchise record for Joe Flacco, 176 consecutive pass attempts without an interception, topping the previous mark from Eric Zier. And off to Terrence West, he's ridden down immediately by Sheldon Richardson, who has stood out here for the Jets. Loss of 3 on 1st down for Baltimore. Excellent field position for the Ravens after that sequence of the punt that got the Jets deep in their own territory, and then the 3 and out by New York.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive stat that you just read too. You look at Flacco with the consecutive pass attempts without an interception. When you consider that all the changes and the injuries that they've had to that offensive line, 5 different combinations, and he's throwing the ball a ton in games, but he's not turning it over.
Flacco rifles to the sideline. It's picked off. Buster screen. Screen's got a convoy, and he's brought down inside the 5. There's the big mistake from Flacco. And the Jets capitalize.
Well, he's working up top, and he's going to throw the deep out-breaking route. Buster Screen's playing from off coverage. He has his eyes in the backfield, and Flacco's just a split second late. We always talk about if you wait, you're late, especially on out-breaking routes. They're going after Screen. He knows he has help inside from the safety, Gilchrist, and he's just sitting on this ball the whole way.
The Jets take over 1st and goal at the 3. Trying to regain the lead. Just over 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Buster Screen had a nightmare of a day on Monday night in Arizona. Big play for the Jets defensively.
This is a part of the field where they have really struggled. They're dead last in scoring.
1st and goal from the 3. Forte. Nothing there on the pile. Lawrence Guy helps stack him up. It's 2nd and goal. It was a 51-yard return by Screen to set up the Jets off of the Flacco interception.
And remember, Buster Screen Ian had a really difficult time of it Monday night against the Arizona Cardinals. They really went after him. He had a bunch of penalties back there. That's a huge play for him. That's a boost to his confidence.
2nd and goal for New York. Extra offensive lineman is Dakota Dozier. Forte in the backfield.
Good red zone teams have the ability to run the ball in this part of the field.
Play clock had hit 0-0.
Hey, still 2nd down.
How does that happen?
With a veteran quarterback. I mean, the play clock is right in front of you. You know, in some of these stadiums, it's up on the 2nd level. It's right there in front of them. When you break the huddle, you have to look at it. It's right there. And I mentioned they had a couple delay of game penalties last week. One from Ryan Fitzpatrick and one from Geno Smith. It's been an issue the entire season.
2nd and goal now marked at the 9. Play clock again winding down. Handed off. Forte plowing inside the 5 and then a pile. Some words exchanged after the play between Johnson and Smith. Wesley Johnson in for Nick Mangold, who left early. And it's going to be 3rd and goal for New York. Spot the football just inside the 4. Baltimore 16, the Jets 14. Ticking down here in the 3rd quarter with John Harbaugh's squad trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. The Jets have dropped 4 in a row. Shotgun for Fitzpatrick. Looking for the lead. Fitzpatrick floats it. Incomplete. Enunwa, the intended receiver. Gerard Powers there defensively in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, Enunwa's just going to run the corner route. This is pretty good coverage by Powers. Fitzpatrick knows that he has to put this ball on the outside number. Enunwa not able to squeeze it and make the catch on the boundary.
So you think about Baltimore making that tackle on Buster Screen inside the 5, saving a touchdown and saving 4 points, because now it's a Nick Folk 22-yard chip shot. And he nails it. Jets go back in front 17-16, but not the result they wanted after the long return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And by National Mortgage Lender Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power.
Joe Flacco picked off by Buster Screen. Long return set the Jets up 1st and goal inside the 5, unable to punch it in. They take a delay of game penalty that backs them up 5 yards. And then a 22-yard field goal for Nick Folk, who kicks it off now for New York. Booming kick. Hester through the back of the end zone. Ravens will have it at the 25-yard line. On Tuesday, the Ravens celebrated youth wellness by hosting their 5th annual Hometown Huddle. Players join local children as part of a league-wide day of service to encourage kids to be healthy and active. 5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Jets now lead at 17-16 over Baltimore. Yeah, this is one of those games, Rich, where these teams look at the other side of the field and they think to themselves, we should beat these guys.
Who's going to make the first mistake, right?
Dennis Pitta, the motion man. Fake the handoff. Flacco. Too high. Pitta, the intended receiver, against the safety Gilchrist. NFL Today update. JB and Tony in New York.
Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, he's the leading rusher in the league, but he can also throw. And this one to his deep threat, Marquise Goodwin, for 67 yards. He takes it to the house, 17-6. Buffalo is up over Miami.
The new marriage, Ian and Rich.
And no Sammy Watkins there, guys, and they're finding ways to generate offense.
There's another team that made a coordinator change, and it's really paying off well for the Buffalo Bills.
Greg Roman out, Anthony Lynn in. Terrence West runs into a wall. Jarvis Jenkins and Victor Ochi, who was just brought up from the practice squad, Stony Brook product, who was in training camp with the Baltimore Ravens. Ochi making his NFL debut. All-time career leader in sacks for the Seawolves. 32.5 sacks at Stony Brook.
We talk about the Ravens defense. The Jets run defense pretty good as well. They're top 6. They got gashed a little bit last week, but other than that, they've done a nice job this season stopping the run on the early downs.
Baltimore has 9 rushing yards. That's it. On a 3rd and 10. Flacco throws it high. Intercepted again. Marcus Gilchrist has got it, and he's out of bounds. Flacco having problems. And that one wasn't even close.
This is just a force. They only got 3 receivers out in the route. They kept 7 in the block. They were anticipating the blitz, but he just misses this one high. This is just too easy for Marcus Gilchrist. You're going to see, look at everyone's up around the line of scrimmage. So Flacco's anticipating some form of pressure. And look at Gilchrist. He never feels him on the backside. He's trying to fit this post in, and he misses high. There you see him. He also bobbles the snap. He doesn't catch it quickly. He's out of rhythm, and he's late with his eyes down the field.
So the Jets have it inside the 25. Running play to Forte. Forward progress will get him to the 19. It's a 5-yard pickup.
You and I were talking about jinxing him if we could do that here in the booth. I mean, what, 176 straight throws without interception? Now he's thrown 2 picks in the last 2 series.
Back-to-back for Joe Flacco, and it's given the Jets not only new life, but the lead. 17-16, 3:35 left to go in the 3rd with the clock moving.
Even for veterans, I think practice time is important. We talked about that, him not practicing on Wednesday and Thursday, missing valuable reps in preparation for the Jets.
2nd and 5 now for New York. Forte again. He's got a running on. Forte bursting through, and he's dropped inside the 5. Key block from Brian Winters up front, and it sets Forte up for a 15-yard gain.
Yeah, look at the blocking up front, and then you're going to see Forte. He's off to the races. Nice job on the double team between the center and the guard. You see the kick out, and look at the quickness in the hole from Matt Forte.
16 carries, 61 yards, 3 catches for 51 yards for Forte, and a touchdown.
You need to keep feeding it to him in this part of the field. He's a very good tackle-to-tackle runner.
1st and goal, handoff, Forte. It's blowing up in the backfield. Zachary Orr is shooting through for Baltimore.
Well, this is a problem when you don't block the end man on the line of scrimmage. He's just coming clean off the edge. Don't even block him. This is just too easy for a linebacker like Orr. Forte has nowhere to go with the ball.
Now, these goal-to-go situations have been killers for the Jets, unable to cash in throughout the season. 2nd and goal. Forte slithers, and then the Ravens are there. Ravens come away with the football. Baltimore has got it with Timmy Jernigan. He fumbles it. Team's trying to jump on top of it. What a turn. Jets cough it up. Ravens get it. Ravens cough it up. Brandon Marshall is down there.
Fumbled by New York, was recovered by Baltimore and advanced. Then fumbled by Baltimore, recovered by New York. It'll be 1st and goal.
Wow.
Incredible. What a sequence.
Well, when you get in these piles, you have to be careful. You get them wrapped up. This is a Ravens defense that works every day on ball extraction.
But then Timmy Jernigan, after the recovery, runs with the football and turns it over himself.
That's what happens sometimes with the big men. They're not used to carrying the football. Someone alertly strips it out. A little bit of unexpected good fortune for the New York Jets.
So the Jets get a first down out of it. And it's 1st and goal at the 5.
And Lake throwing the fade route in this part of the field, to Brandon Marshall. This is a route that Fitzpatrick is very comfortable throwing in this part of the field.
Looking that way, back of the end zone. It's incomplete.
A good look at Forte, careless with the ball in the hole, and it gets knocked out. And we saw Jernigan scoop it up. He starts running. And a good alert play there by Brandon Marshall. The wily cagey vet knows how to get it back on the ground.
2nd and goal for the Jets. Fitzpatrick on the give. Forte accelerating. Forte looking to get to the goal line. He's short.
Well, Forte's a bigger back that is strong and sudden with the ball in his hands. And you look at the power. Just comes up a bit short.
It is 3rd and goal at the 1.
Well, if you're the Jets, I think you got to be thinking about 4-down territory.
They have 7 offensive linemen on a 3rd and goal. Give it to Forte. Takes it in for the touchdown. The Jets finally hit pay dirt in a goal-to-go situation. 23-16 New York with the extra point coming.
And the Jets don't carry a fullback, so they have their extra tight end in there. Bostic, look at this gaping hole. It's too easy for a back like Matt Forte. Good job handling the penetration. They decide to run off tackle with their veteran back.
Forte has a touchdown on the ground. He's got one on the receiving end. The Jets with Nick Folk kicking the extra point have produced 10 points off of the Joe Flacco interceptions on back-to-back possessions. Turnovers, penalties, sloppy play. That's plagued Baltimore in the 3-game losing streak. The Jets in front, 24-16. 56 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, and the Jets now lead at 24-16 over the Ravens. Joe Flacco, 2 interceptions, a fumble by Jernigan after a fumble recovery kept the Jets alive deep in Baltimore territory. Folk kicks it off, and Hester will take a knee. Baltimore will have it at the 25-yard line. Week 7 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox, then tonight Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN.
Well, they got to get their quarterback back up on the saddle. Eyeing 2 straight possessions with an interception. It's out of rhythm. Got to reel him in back in some.
On a handoff to West. Drop by Julian Stanford on the play as the clock ticks down. We are 47 seconds and counting remaining in the 3rd quarter. That's just a 1-yard gain for West. So Stanford called into duty after the injury to Bruce Carter. No Darren Lee today for the Jets defensively. Ankle injury, and Aaron Henderson was placed on the non-football injury list last night. 11 rushing yards for a Baltimore team that averages just under 100. Flacco. He connects, and Chris Moore takes a shot from Calvin Pryor. Holds on to the football and brings up 3rd down after the 4-yard pickup through the air.
And Calvin Pryor is a very good run support safety. Good alert play by the veteran safety.
End of the 3rd quarter. 24-16 Jets. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Nothing has come easy for these two teams this season, and right now it's the Jets leading the Ravens 24-16. 35. Flacco's pass is broken up. Dennis Pitta hit by Darrelle Revis. 4th down, Baltimore.
Flacco really likes to work Pitta in critical situations. You see Revis, somehow he gets matched up with the tight end on the crossing route. And a rough start to the second half for Joe Flacco. Just 3 of 8 for 19 yards with a couple picks.
Sam Cook will punt it. Jalen Marshall is at the Jets 20. We're just underway here in the 4th quarter. Good kick for Cook. It sends Marshall back to the 11. Walks a tightrope along the sideline. Takes a couple of shots and he's out of bounds across the 25. It's a 59-yard punt, 16-yard return.
Yeah, I mentioned the struggles that Joe has had to begin the second half. Just 3 of 8 for 19 yards, a couple of interceptions late on the out-breaking route. Buster screens there for the pick, and then he's late down the middle. Bad combination. Easy interception for the safety, Marcus Gilchrist.
In that first half, Flacco was throwing the ball well, accurate. We mentioned the injury from last week. Right shoulder trouble, but didn't seem to plague him in the first half. Handoff to Matt Forte. A blast by Forte. And the running game is picking up steam for New York as the day has worn on. Ryan Clady with a block. That's a 10-yard gain for Forte. He's now got 77 on the ground. Jets as a team have 132 yards rushing.
And this is what was really missing, in my opinion, the first 6 weeks of the season. And if I'm the offensive coordinator, Chan Gailey, regardless of who's playing quarterback, I'm going to limit the exposure of my quarterback. Take the ball and the decision-making out of his hands some and run it with these 2 backs, Forte and Powell.
So go figure. The day that Ryan Fitzpatrick is the backup quarterback is the day that the Jets established the run, and now he's benefiting from it. On a give for Forte, breaks that initial wave, and a flag down as he falls forward across the 40-yard line. Penalty marker at the 34.
Holding number 77, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
And it's James Carpenter, the 6-year veteran who won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks, on that left side of the Jets line. Geno Smith left this game in the 2nd quarter with a right knee injury. For Geno, all of the time waiting for the chance to get back into action, and it didn't last a half.
Hey, Mike's 50 there, Mike's 50. Mod 54. Mod 54. Yeah.
1st and 20 for the Jets. Fitzpatrick gives it to Troymaine Pope. I think right now they're protecting Bilal Powell, who is the emergency quarterback, so they don't want to bring him in, use him on the ground, and risk injury and then have no emergency QB if Fitzpatrick went down.
I don't know if you're 1-5, you're really worried about that. I'm going to play my best players. I always think in critical situations, you can't be thinking about plays, you have to think about players. I want my best playmakers to get an opportunity to touch the ball and impact the game.
Pope is a rookie out of Jacksonville State. He was waived by the Seattle Seahawks and picked up by the Jets. 2nd and 19. Fitzpatrick dumps it off. And a drop by Pope. Flag thrown. Back at the 22.
Be a late hit.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 90, defense. Contact to the quarterback's head. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's Darius Smith.
And right to the face mask. They're going to call that one every time. We talked, Ryan, earlier about the penalties and how they've been a problem for this football team. Too many penalties through the first 6 games of the season. 52 penalties. 2nd most in football. They had 15 last week against the Giants.
That's 4 now for Baltimore, costing them 35 yards.
Mike's 50, Mike's 50.
The Jets were going to face a 3rd and long. Instead, it's a 1st and 10.
180.
Just short of the 45-yard line. Running play. Forte's back in there. Turns the corner. Crosses into Baltimore territory as he's hit by Tavon Young. 8-yard gain for Forte. With NFL Game Pass, replay the games you missed with condensed games in 45 minutes or the full broadcast versions. Get the new midseason offer today at NFL.com/Game Pass.
You know, it's one thing to talk about running the football, but it's another thing to be committed to it. And you look at the distribution today, they've already run the ball 22 times for 142 yards against the #1 running defense in football. It's been an impressive way to go so far for the Jets on offense.
Rich, Tavon Young got injured on that tackle, so Will Davis is now in. Forte up the middle, and it got brought down by the leg. Eric Weddle very close to a first down. Let's check in with Evan Washburn. Evan?
The thin secondary for the Ravens is becoming an issue. Ladarius Webb is out for this game with a right hamstring injury, so we'll check on Tavon Young, but they're getting thin in the back end for Baltimore.
They placed Kendrick Lewis on IR yesterday, so that was the backup to Webb at that safety spot. We mentioned Anthony Levine early in the game. He's a jack of all trades. Play clock is down to 1. Didn't look like they got the playoff. Fitzpatrick throws. Incomplete. Brandon Marshall off his hands. The timing was just off from the very start as Fitzpatrick took the snap. Clearly the play clock had hit 00.
Yeah, this is just it. You got to put it when they run those in-breaking routes, the slant routes. That's the most difficult catch for a receiver behind them. It's one that you'd expect a guy like Brandon Marshall to make, but that play, as you mentioned, they seemed like they were out of sorts. They had a difficult time even getting the play off.
Rich, Ryan Fitzpatrick opened the day 7 of 7 when he stepped in for Geno Smith. He's missed on his last 4 passes. And that was 3rd and a yard. They could not convert to keep this drive alive. Lachlan Edwards punts it. And it's an 8-point differential. 24-16, just a 32-yard punt. Ravens very much alive here in the 4th.
For watching the NFL on CBS.
MetLife has been a house of horrors for John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens. The loss to the Giants last week, a serious struggle offensively in the second half this week. Flacco goes down. Joe Flacco was looking to hand it off, and Leonard Williams is there to make sure he doesn't get up. Ravens are completely out of sorts right now.
Well, Jeremy Zuttah is getting beat at the center position. He is getting pushed back into the lap of Joe Flacco. Watch, Flacco trips over his center because of penetration from the nose tackle, Steve McClendon. That's the second time today we saw Flacco stumble coming away from center.
2nd and 15. Flacco throws it underneath, and it's caught by Wallace just across the 15-yard line, brought down by David Harris. They pick up 5, and it brings up 3rd and long now for Baltimore.
That is a bad feeling as a quarterback as you're trying to get away from center and you get stepped on by a guy that wears a size 15. There's nowhere to go except down.
7 catches, 102 yards for Mike Wallace. 3rd and 10 for the Ravens from the 15. Flacco lets it rip. Too high for Mike Wallace. Incomplete. 4th down Baltimore, and a very quiet and brief 3 and out for the Ravens.
Well, he had him. He just misses the throw inside. Look at that ball sail. And you're going to see the pressure up inside from Lorenzo Mauldin. Not able to set his feet and step into that one.
Darrelle Revis said, against Flacco, you can pressure him up the middle and throw him off his game. Cook. Marshall never gets a chance to touch it, and it's out of bounds. Flacco took a shot from Josh Martin right up the gut, and that ball sailed on him as the Jets will take over at the 36-yard line. We'll step aside.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T-Mobile. Switch to the network built for unlimited data. United States Air Force. Experience more at airforce.com. and by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica, imported from Detroit.
The officials huddled up during that break in the action and have decided that the ball will be spotted at the 28-yard line. That's where the Jets will take over. 9:49 to play in the fourth. Ian Eagle, Rich Gannon, Evan Washburn, the rest of our NFL on CBS crew. Ryan Fitzpatrick replacing the injured Geno Smith in a week where Fitzpatrick got benched by head coach Todd Bowles. Matt Forte's played a big role today, and Forte is dragged down by Eric Weddle. It's a 1-yard pickup. It was in the second quarter. Smith absorbing a sack from Judon, and he landed awkwardly on that right knee with a twist. Smith immediately went to the locker room, came out for the second half wearing that Jet sweatshirt. His day is done. Fitzpatrick is 7 of 11, 89 yards, and a touchdown. From the 29. Give to Forte. Tried to stutter step, and the Ravens push him backwards. Forward progress will get him out to the 34, just short of it.
You know, they have been much more patient and committed to running the football, and I think it's a good thing for this Jets offense. So often in the past they've gotten away from it, and they've really put the ball in the hands of Geno Smith and asked him to win games. And when your quarterback is struggling a little bit with the turnovers, it's the best thing you can do. Help him out a little bit by running the football effectively on the early downs.
Dime package. Tavon Young is in the concussion protocol. Will Davis in for him. Webb has left with a hamstring injury. And Fitzpatrick is dumped at the 30 by Judon. So the Jets, you sense with this 8-point lead, not looking to take any chances here. 5th Ravens sack of the afternoon. But you've been around this game for so long, Rich. Quality teams, when they're up 8,
they know how to finish.
Exactly.
And you let a team like this hang around and bad things happen late. And we talked about it. Put together an 8, 10, 12 play drive, get a score there, make this a 2-score game. Neither of these teams have been good finishing teams late.
The Jets did not use very much clock. Lachlan Edwards punting. Returnable for Hester. Dances and drilled. Devin Hester, 52-yard punt, and Hester couldn't do anything with it. Peeked downfield first. Prior to the game, the Jets had a moment of silence honoring the late Dennis Byrd, who died last week in a car accident. His wife Angela and his family on hand here at MetLife. A number of his former teammates as well. Dennis Byrd, 1992, broke his neck, was temporarily paralyzed when he ran into his teammate Scott Mercero, who is here in attendance today. And pass to Mike Wallace, and that play goes nowhere. Buster's screen all over it for New York.
And Todd Bowles told us on Friday they need better production and more consistency from the cornerback position, and Buster Skrine has certainly picked up his effort and energy level today with the interception. A good alert play there on the quick screen. It's a guy that really struggled a week ago against the Cardinals.
2nd and 10, Flacco operating out of the gun. He's got Dixon there to pass protect. Flacco pump and throw. Dixon is drilled immediately after the catch by Pryor. It's a loss of 1 for Baltimore.
Really good coverage there. Nowhere to go with the football. Jets had them all locked up and accounted for down the field.
And it brings up 3rd and 11.
This is an area where they have really struggled on 3rd down. They're converting just a little over a third of their opportunities, which is only good enough for 27th coming into today's game.
Flacco dealing with pressure, and he bounced that one in the direction of Pitta. Flacco taking a shot from Leonard Williams as the Jets apply pressure, and Baltimore cannot handle it.
Yeah, we talked about internal pressure. It bothers Flacco. You know he's not a guy that's going to step up in there and trust the protection. They are 1 short, and he can't hold it.
The Ravens have 1 first down in the second half. Cook punting to Jalen Marshall. We're down to 6:20 to play in the fourth. Marshall brought it in at the 33 and lost yards on the return. Darren Waller making his way downfield on special teams, a 49-yard punt. 8-point lead for the Jets in the fourth.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. And by Subway. Try the new thick-cut autumn carb turkey sandwich.
Hey, Mike's 50 there.
24-16, the Jets leading the Baltimore Ravens. Jets with the football at the 32-yard line with just over 6 minutes to play. Matt Forte has been a workhorse. 25 carries, 93 yards. It's carry number 26 for Forte. Forte keeps the legs churning, brought down by Correa. Gain of 4. Thursday on CBS, The Big Bang Theory moves to its new night, leading a parade of premieres, starting with the new comedy, The Great Indoors, followed by Mom and Life in Pieces. It's comedy's big night, and it's Thursday only. CBS.
At some point, the Jets have to take a shot here. We talked about the injuries in the Ravens secondary. Webb out. Sharice Wright didn't play today. Tavon Young out.
On a 2nd and 6 for New York. Fake it. Fitzpatrick curls out of trouble and throws it away. He's just not going to take any risks downfield. Zadarius Smith put the heat on Ryan Fitzpatrick.
They did a nice job down the field. You look at Smith matched up on Marshall. He's been traveling with him today. You look on the other side at Anunwa. They are ready for those in-breaking routes. That's where they've really been hurt. And laid outside, you look at the rookie Robbie Anderson, him wanting the ball, but Fitzpatrick at that point had already worked to the other side of the field.
He has missed on his last 5 passes after starting the day, 7 of 7 in relief of Geno Smith. Play clock down to 1.
Wow.
And a timeout call. The Jets will have 2 remaining. Jets face a 3rd and 6, leading it 24-16.
Some confusion again at the line of scrimmage.
Well, this is something Baltimore has grown accustomed to. Lots of close games. Week 4, Michael Crabtree, the touchdown with 2 minutes left. That gave Oakland a 1-point win. Week 5, Ravens lost to Washington by 6. Perriman's touchdown with a minute left was overturned by replay. And then last week, Odell Beckham just went off in the second half. 66-yard touchdown with a minute 24 left. The Giants won it 27-23. We're down to 5:27 left.
Hey, come on.
They give you so many unusual looks. You have a bunch of linemen that don't put their hand in the ground. Very difficult to make your declarations up at there.
Shotgun. Fitzpatrick throws. Hauled in. Robbie Anderson. First down.
Well, they really like Robbie Anderson. He's going to be a good one. He has a lot of speed. And this is a terrific throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick down the middle of the field. You see him working on the cornerback. He gets up on the safety. And Fitz is able to fit it in between the linebacker and safety and 2 deep coverage.
28 yards. Anderson, 3 catches for 41 yards. Ravens needed a stop. Instead, the Jets can use more clock. They've got a first down in Baltimore territory, just short of the 35. Back to the ground. Forte wrestled down by Michael Pierce. It's a 2-yard pickup. NFL Today update. JB and Tony G.
Washington looking for 5 straight.
Yeah, you're going to see Kirk Cousins. He's having himself a day. He fakes that handoff into the design quarterback run. He takes it all the way for the touchdown. He's also got a touchdown in the air. 17-13. They are up, looking for their 5th straight win.
Hey, Ian, I say this lovingly. I know Rich Gannon's faster than that.
You
right, JB.
You got Kirk Cousins side by side. You got
I got him. I can still handle him.
2nd and 8 here for the Jets. We will hit the 4-minute mark of this 4th quarter. Forte tries to stop and turn the other way, and the Ravens fully prepared with Brandon Williams. You called him one of the best run stuffers in the NFL at that defensive tackle position. Williams also pretty light on his feet for a man 340 pounds.
He's tough to move off the ball. You know, I think to be a good 314, you better have a great nose tackle. That's where it all starts. He does a lot of the dirty work inside. You look at where the Ravens are at. And they're down 8. They have to, something has to happen. They have to do something here. They can't afford to get behind by 2 scores. A great time for a turnover.
Anderson goes in motion on a 3rd and 10 for New York. Fitzpatrick in the pocket. A little dump off to Matt Forte. And they pick up a few yards across the 35. Well, what do you do now? You're looking at a 51-yard field goal attempt if you're the Jets. 3:09 to play.
I think you kick it. I mean, you got a chance to go up 2 scores here. Your defense is playing well. Ravens are struggling on offense, and give your kicker Nick Folk a chance.
If he does not make it, Ravens will take over with pretty good field position with 3:09 to play. Made a 22-yarder.
Looks like he's got the wind behind him a little bit.
This is from 51 yards out. His long this year is 48. Trying to extend the lead. Nick Folk. It's blocked! Ricochets to the sideline, and Baltimore gets it done on special teams. One possession game with just over 3 minutes left. And the Ravens take over.
The block comes from up inside to get great penetration.
Oh, it's Brandon Williams.
Good snap, good hold. Look at the effort by Brandon Williams. We just talked about the effort he gives you as a nose tackle in a 3-4 defense, but also the playmaking ability on the field goal block team.
Look, the other move there is potentially to punt it, but at that point, I think it's not sending a good message to your team if you're not willing to send your field goal kicker out.
Straight. You got to do something. You got to give the kicker a chance to ice him.
Mike Wallace with the catch, and Wallace is twirled down just across the 35-yard line by Julian Stanford. Clock is moving. We're down to 2:50 to play. The Jets lead the Ravens 24-16. Baltimore has 2 timeouts remaining and facing a 2nd and 5. Joe Flacco, 2 interceptions today. Had the longest stretch of his career without throwing a pick.
He just throws this one away.
Sure, if he and the receiver were on the same page, Brashad Perriman, second half possessions, it's been
ugly.
Rough sledding.
Yeah, just 1 first down, just 16 yards of offense. Look at the interceptions, a bunch of three and outs. They are demoralizing to an offense. Flacco and the Ravens have really struggled to find their rhythm in the second half.
This is 3rd and 5. Ravens go empty with a 5-receiver set. Flacco throws and hits his man Dennis Pitta for a first down. 7 yards on the hookup. We're down to 2:18 to play in the 4th. Line of scrimmage is now short of the 42 in Baltimore territory. They'll get a playoff before the 2-minute warning. Flacco pump. Flacco out of the pocket. And he does. 1:58 to play. Sheldon Richardson put the pressure on Joe Flacco. Jets are trying to hold on to snap a 4-game losing streak. Baltimore is trying to rally to stop its 3-game losing streak. We'll have the finish for you when we come back to Jersey. Your weekend starts on Thursday. The Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Tennessee Titans. All the action only on NFL Network. 1:58 to play. Jets 24, Ravens 16. A 2nd and 10 for Baltimore. They have 2 timeouts. Toss over the middle. It's caught by Mike Wallace. Nice move by Wallace to fake out screen. And he's in New York territory at the 46-yard line. That's 14 yards on the zigzag by Wallace.
Obviously, this is 4-down football the rest of the way for the Ravens. They need to score in a 2-point conversion to tie this up. Critical situation against Todd Bowles' coach defense. You have to think pressure.
Flacco hooks a pass, immediately hit Juszczyk. Brought down by Julian Stanford, forced into extended action because of injury. It's a 2-yard pickup. We're down to 1:19 left, and second down for Baltimore. From the 44, on a 2nd and 8, Flacco offline. He was trying to hit Chris Moore, 4th-round pick. Incomplete.
Yeah, the veteran linebacker David Harris is going to do just enough to interrupt him on the crossing route, and Chris Moore not able to throttle it down and give Flacco an opportunity to fit that one in there.
3rd and 8. Flacco, 42 attempts. He leads the NFL in pass attempts this season. 1:05 to play. Flacco lost the football. It came out funny, and it's 4th down.
Well, I think what happened is right at the last second, he got spooked and he tries to stop his arm. He sets to throw it, and then right at the last second, he tries to pull off. Just watch it. Just seemed like right at the last second it either slipped or he decided he changed his mind late in the process.
And here's your ball game. 4th down for Baltimore.
Here comes the blitz. You know it's coming. You see the safety down there around the line of scrimmage. There's a reason he's there.
Jets are trying to finish off the Ravens on 4th down. Flacco pulls the trigger. It's a deep ball up in the air. Knocked around. Incomplete. Chris Moore against Marcus Williams. And the Ravens hand it to the Jets on downs.
Well, they tie you up inside to draw the rush, and then you see them bring the linebacker and the safety, Calvin Pryor, who has spent a lot of his time here late in the game blitzing Joe Flacco, and good coverage down the field on the back end from Marcus Williams.
Again, no Steve Smith Sr., so pushing the depth for Baltimore. That's young Chris Moore in a critical moment.
Yep,
He could not haul it in. 55 seconds left. Baltimore has 2 timeouts remaining.
They can run it 3 times here and force the Ravens to use both the timeouts and run this clock out.
Handed off to Forte, and he brings it just across the 45, brought down by Michael Pierce. 50 seconds to play now.
There's really no surprise. We talked about it, in a critical situation. Todd Bowles is going to bring pressure. The Ravens knew it. The Jets anticipated it, and it's just what they did. They've done a much better job, especially in the second half, defending the deep ball against the Ravens.
Last win against Baltimore was 1997. Bill Parcells was the head coach. It was a combination of Neil O'Donnell and Glenn Foley at quarterback for the Jets.
That's going back, isn't it? Glenn Foley.
DC product.
Yeah.
And then Bostic goes in motion on a 2nd and 9. Baltimore is down to its final timeout. Give it to Forte.
Got to hold on to it in this situation. Can't let him rip it out.
And he does.
Stu Williams there. He's trying to strip it.
And that's it. Baltimore cannot get the football back. Time is trickling away, down to 30 seconds to play. On a day where Ryan Fitzpatrick was the backup quarterback, but steps in for the injured Geno Smith, the Jets are going to end their 4-game losing streak.
Who starts next week for the Jets, Ian?
Yeah, you're getting on that early, aren't you, Rich?
Well, you know, look at Fitzpatrick. He came in, he was cold, didn't do a whole lot. 9 of 14, but he didn't turn it over, and that's the key with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He made good decisions, and he took care of the football.
The Jets will be in Cleveland. The Ravens have their bye week, and then they'll be home for Pittsburgh week 9. Jets have to take one more snap, and then this one is in the books.
Where the Ravens just couldn't get anything going offensively, and I'm just looking ahead. They've got a bye, and then they've got 4 of their next 5 games at home. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. They travel to Dallas. They're back at home against Cincinnati, Miami. They really let a good opportunity slip away here today.
Jets were looking for a spark. It came in the form of Matt Forte. The losing streak is over. The Jets get it done against the Baltimore Ravens. And now it's the Ravens who are in a free fall. Jets, they snap their skid at 4. The Ravens have now dropped 4 straight. Back-to-back weeks here at MetLife, and the Ravens come up short against the Giants and Jets. Final score 24-16. Game 2 of the doubleheader coming up. The Patriots at the Steelers. For Rich Gannon and Evan Washburn, Ian Eagle saying so long from the Meadowlands. Coming up next, it's the NFL Today update and bonus coverage.